Thank you all for coming to do this press release. On January the 8th, 2017 at 6:35 p.m. the Prattville Police Department was dispatched to 113 Irma Lane in reference to a domestic situation, and a shot was called. Upon arrival, officers located 24-year-old white male David DeRamus suffering from a gunshot wound to the leg. DeRamus was transported to the Prattville Baptist Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Further investigation, we discovered that there were 2 subjects shot in the house and were deceased. Those victims were later identified as Elizabeth Russo, 44 years of age, Timothy Russo, 50 years of age. At this time, the Prattville Police Department is conducting a death investigation, and after collecting evidence, it will be presented to the next Ottawa County Grand Jury. We believe that there's no reason for the public to be alarmed. This is an isolated incident, and there's no subjects at large at this time. The Prattville Police Department would like to extend our heartfelt sympathy to the family, and we're requesting that the community pray for these families as they will be going through tough times in the next couple of weeks. And we're also requesting that the public would be sensitive to the family members, and not just this case, but cases in the future, not to post on social media before the police department can do what they need to do to their investigations.
Chief, so it sounds like this was a murder-suicide?
At this time, we're still investigating it. No final call is made yet.
Would that be your department or the grand jury?
Our department will continue to gather the information, and we will present it to the grand jury, and the findings will be released by the grand jury.
What's the relationship between the victims, the Russos, Chief?
It's a husband and wife and a stepson.
Whose, was it his stepson or hers?
Her stepson.
Any idea what they were arguing about?
Not, at this time, we're just not releasing any further information.
And how did the stepson, the circumstances, how did he get shot? Can you talk about that?
I'm not gonna go into that at this time, Lauren.
What's the condition of the stepson?
At this time, the latest information is that he has just come out of surgery and he's in stable condition.
Were there any 911 calls for help before you guys got there?
As far as we know, there were 2 911 calls.
Was it from her?
Not sure at this time who made the calls.
I take it this happened before your first officer got on the scene. Had it already finished, I guess, if you will?
Yes, when our officers arrived, they located the 2 deceased victims.
Where was the stepson? Was he out in the front yard? Or?
At this time, we don't want to go into too many details. We're still conducting a death investigation.
Chief, was there ever previously any need for Prattville Police to have any interaction with this family?
At this time, we have not looked into that to see if there were calls made to that house. Can't answer that right now.
For clarification, there were no calls before, or you don't know yet?
Can't answer that right now.
How long were they married?
I'm not sure. Don't have any history on the family.
What is left to investigate, I guess, before you send it on to the grand jury?
Well, we have to gather the facts of the case. We have to finish up on collecting evidence and submitting it to forensics.
Can you tell us who shot whom first?
Not at this time.
Did either one of them individually have a history with y'all?
We have not looked into their backgrounds at this time, so that's something that we will be pursuing in the days to come.
When's the grand jury meet again?
I'll refer that to Captain Hassel.
I believe the next session of the grand jury is either in March or April. Talbot County meets every 6 months. So in the next couple months. Now, that does not mean that we'll be ready at that point in time to submit the findings to the grand jury. Of course, we've got to get reports back from the Department of Forensic Sciences, and some other interviews taken care of. So it may be 6 months after that next date.
Questions?
What do you tell the neighbors on Irma Lane? Obviously, they're stunned by this. What do you tell them as a result of what happened last week?
As far as there being a potential for something else to happen that, as it relates to this case, not to be alarmed. And also, we do want to put out to the public, if there's a domestic situation, we're requesting and asking the public, if you see something, to please report it.
Need to get the names going.
It's a tragedy for this community. I think, as we all know, very tight community here. And so if you don't mind at this point in time, please keep the family and the friends and the neighbors in your prayers, but then also our police officers, because they were there on the scene when all this, after this had taken place, when they got called in. And so just keep them all in your prayers. And because on the other side that it's been mentioned a little bit already, on social media, they started, a frenzy was starting because of some of the false information that was put out there. So especially on social media, if you don't know true facts, the best thing to do is nothing. We want our officers to be able to get out there and perform their jobs and make sure that everybody is safe. But when the neighborhood is all concerned that there might be somebody running around with a gun or something along that line, and in some cases I understand that because everything that's been going on in the nation, in the airports and other communities. But the best thing to do is let our professionals get in there. Please keep them in your prayers. But just remember, if you don't know the facts, the worst thing to do is get out there and act like it is true facts. So in this case, the best thing to do on social media is nothing. So, but keep us all in your prayers.